Hey, good afternoon, South Mississippi, or wherever you're joining us from. Thank you for watching this podcast. It's called WTF, otherwise known as What the Forecast. A little bit of a play on words. It is the 11th of July, heading into a hot summer weekend, not excruciatingly hot. And look, for all of you people that complain about the heat, holy shit, dude, it is South Mississippi. Number one. Number two, it's summer. What do you expect it to be? Wear some shorts, t-shirt, crank up the AC a little bit, limit your time outdoors, spend some time underneath shade, enjoy yourself, man. Before you know it, we're going to have that shitty weather again. Everything's going to go from green to brown come November. And then we're going to see 9 hours of daylight a day, if even that. Right now, enjoy the 14 plus hours. Like I said, it's summertime. Find a way to stay cool. I'm going to talk about something else along those lines coming up in just a bit. Real quick, this is our second podcast of WTF. If you know me, if you've watched me before on television, used to be the chief meteorologist for WXXV News 25 up until last year. After 10 years of waking up at 1:30 in the morning, it was like, you know, let's go ahead and throw that in the rearview mirror. Anyway, a couple of days ago when we started our first podcast, Jeff Vorick and myself, Jeff, who used to work for me at the TV station back in 2022, we started this. Jeff left the industry for about a year and change, then went back into television, whether he's in Georgia right now near the Savannah area. After the first podcast, realized that it was a conflict of interest. So Jeff is no longer joining me, but hey, you've got the antics of Rob Knight with you. During my television days, I used to put out a little segment about what the hell is wrong with Rob Knight. And we used to really call that "What the hell is wrong with Rob Knight." People got a kick out of that, just for the fact that man, I say shit the way it's supposed to be said, or the way I feel it, the way I think about it in my head, comes out that way. If you like it, thank you for tuning in. If you like it, tell a friend, share our link. Hopefully, we'll grow this podcast and maybe one day develop into something a little bit more. But right now it's Friday. We're heading into the weekend. We're going to talk about some weather stuff and a couple of fun things real quick, and get you people back on the way for the rest of your day. So again, Friday, a lot of you have plans into the weekend. Um, it's going to be a nice weekend. I'll start off by saying that as I'm killing some time before I try to share this big screen. So, again, want to thank you for tuning in. Welcome to WTF with Rob Knight alone, flying solo. So this is our new cover screen, WTF. Today is the 11th of July. I am Rob, otherwise known as the Chief. My man, Jalen Morris, dubbed that on me a couple of years ago, and it just kind of stuck. So again, folks, man, it's mid-July and it's hot out there, folks. This is what the pattern looks like. Typical summertime pattern. Now, usually the Bermuda high pressure, which is so very, very strong, and you can see this cursor that I've got over the state of Florida, or just off the Florida West Coast. The Bermuda high, it extends well into the Gulf of Mexico. See these lines? That one that says 120 just off the South Carolina coast, and then back towards the west, the other line that says 1016. Those are pressure lines. Those are lines of equal pressure. In between those is where the wind flows. And look at the distance between these millibar lines from 1016 millibars to 1020 millibars. Atmospheric pressure is mentioned in either millibars or hectopascals. I like to use millibars instead. So you've got a change of 4 millibars over the course of what seems to be maybe close to about 1,000 miles, right? So the gradient flow is very weak. That's what we say. And the onshore flow, even though it's still there, it's fairly weak. Notice the winds aren't gusting at all. When the gradient flow is tighter, when you see more of those lines, the gradient flow, the winds are a lot faster. But now there is still weak high pressure in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. The rotation around there is one of a clockwise flow. So we're still getting that southwesterly flow coming into the South Mississippi and even the majority of the northern Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is a model prognosis from today, and this basically shows you where the center of the high pressure is going to be. Now, we're going to see some changes over the next couple of days, folks. Believe it or not, we've seen cooler temperatures this summer. People have been complaining. Now, if you've been along the Midwest, the Northeast, down through the Carolinas, I get it. I get it. Last week, they were seeing temperatures in the mid 90s, when typically for that time frame, they usually see the mid and upper 70s, maybe to about 81, 82 degrees. But certainly not hot as hell as 95 degrees. My whole stomping around New York, they were recording 93, 94 degrees. And even though the relative humidity was showing real low, man, concrete jungle, the Hudson River, it must have been muggy as can be. Now, like I said, it's been the normal kind of hot for us here in South Mississippi. As a matter of fact, it's been just a little bit below seasonal averages. And you can relate to this when as I'm about to tell you that we've seen way higher rain values this year. Similar to 2019, we saw a wet year, not just a wet summer, a complete wet year to the point of where that kept temperatures down. The summer of 2019, I want to say I forecasted weather into the 90s less than a handful of times. I'll put it like that. We reached the annual rainfall amount in mid-June, and we exceeded it all throughout the rest of the year. So, especially during the summer where we had numerous showers and thunderstorms, that kept temperatures down and kept rain cool air throughout the area. Not the extreme like we saw in 2019, but it is still very close to that. So, what's going to happen over the next couple of days? I'm going to jump ahead to 48 hours from today to, and keep an eye on the southeast, especially the green, which indicates rain potential. Look at how that drops off going into the weekend. We're going to see a front approaching well to the north, but it is going to stay well to the north of us. As a matter of fact, well to the north of the I-20 corridor. So as we make our way into the weekend, rain chances are going to drop off. Still, it's going to be in the area this afternoon, including tomorrow. By Sunday, an outside shower possible, but going into next week, that's when we're going to see some changes. See where this high pressure is along the northeastern Gulf of Mexico? Well, what's going to happen is that off the Carolina coast, off the Jacksonville coast right here, where that little arrow is, an area of low pressure is projected to develop with a little weakness in the overall pattern. That is going to shift over the northern Florida Peninsula and then over the Florida Big Bend area Monday as an area of low pressure, perhaps even a trough of low pressure. Doesn't look like it's going to gain any kind of tropical characteristics, but with that proud to move over the northern Florida area into the northeastern Gulf, that's going to bring the moisture and the instability back to the northern Gulf of Mexico. Next week, rain chances are going to start increasing Monday, and by Thursday and Friday, well, you know how they usually say make the backup plan for indoor activities. More than likely, that's what you're going to need the latter part of next week. But the pattern is going to remain dry or fairly dry. We're going to see some isolated showers, which we already have in the area right now going into early afternoon. A few thunderstorms as well. That's going to drop down tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine Sunday. And of course, with the reduced rain chances, temperatures are going to go up as well. So that's going to happen over the weekend, and then we're going to see that area of low pressure developing early next week, make its way into the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. So getting into the forecast, the jet stream has been very far to the north of our area, and that's typically where it is. As a matter of fact, this time of the year, it usually stays in southern Canada, but notice it dips down towards the Midwest and south of the Great Lakes. Up until last week, it was dipping all the way into the central Gulf South states. Now, with the Gulf Stream, that ushers in cold fronts as well. We've seen fronts not only move into, but a couple of fronts move through the area. I don't know if you felt it over the past couple of weeks. We had a few very comfortable early mornings. Now, during the daytime, residual moisture from heavy rainfall from the day before, daytime heating got it back up to the muggy section. But we had a north wind over the mornings several times over the last month, with fronts not only making it into the region, but actually pushing through South Mississippi. That's another reason why we've seen a lot of rainfall. The Bermuda high pressure off the eastern seaboard, which usually extends and does extend into the Gulf of Mexico, it's not that strong this year. And that is also going to play a dominant factor as far as where hurricanes track later in the year. I'm talking about the end of August, September, and October, including the November timeframe. So with the jet stream so far north, we're going to continue to see just an influx of moisture east of the Continental Divide, lower Tennessee Valley area, up through the Midwest and Northeast, and here along the Gulf South as well. Now, unfortunately, the bad side about that is that we're going to start seeing heat index values go up, not just temperatures, but heat index values. We're going to be looking at 105 to about 110, 112 through the weekend and into early next week. You can see where the darkest red shade is in Louisiana, some of that does protrude into southwestern Mississippi as well. Back towards the west, the further west you go, lower temperature profiles, and that's going to be due to wet conditions throughout the southern Rockies into the northern Texas area. And of course, folks, if you've been watching devastating effects throughout central Texas, north of the San Antonio area, just horrendous flooding, landslides. I can't even begin to tell you how many people are now presumed dead and how many are still missing. The pattern for them, it's not going to change very much. They're going to continue to see that rain. The good news is the projected rainfall is going to be a little further north around the I-20 corridor and south of it through an area east of Dallas and further north as to where last week when they saw the torrential rainfall, the plateaus, the mountains flooding and just gushing downstream into valleys and populated areas. This is going to be a little bit better for them because the rainfall is going to be a little further north. However, it is projected, or it can shift as well, heading into the weekend and early next week. So here in South Mississippi, this is what you can expect, folks. Low rain chances. Today, I think I've got a 30%. That's going to continue tomorrow and then drop off on Sunday to 20%. Sunday is just going to be hot and humid, heat index values. As a matter of fact, heat advisories are going to be possible both Saturday and Sunday. I'm not 100% certain on Saturday. As a matter of fact, it looks like a 50-50 shot Saturday or Sunday, or excuse me, Saturday for a heat advisory. And of course, the National Weather Service will issue that. 108 is the criteria. When the heat index gets to 108 or higher, they will issue an advisory. Sunday, I feel certain that there is going to be a heat advisory, more than likely for the interior counties further north and back to the west as well. But just be aware of the situation. You know how to stay safe when it's this hot. Excuse me, limit outdoor activity during prime heating. Don't go out and try to mow your lawn, especially if you're 60 years old, out of shape at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I promise you, you are going to dehydrate. That's not something you want to do. Look, no shade thrown to 60-year-old out of shape guys. Just trying to make a point. And look, you know me as well. Your fur babies, please, 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 please take care of them. A lot of you have outdoor fur babies. A lot of you live in country. Good news about that is that you tend to have a little bit more shade than the urban areas, but still keep your outdoor babies safe. Make sure they've got a nice shaded area, and definitely make sure they have lots of water. Throw a little bit of ice in there as well. That won't kill them. They like a little bit of cold water. So talking about the tropics, and the National Hurricane Center is once again projecting a higher than normal season, but right now it looks like the tropics are nice and quiet and nothing expected over the next 7 days as far as development goes. Of course, if anything does pop up, you got a multitude of television stations, all your apps, and I'm going to be back on here to let you know that as well. So this is what you can expect, South Mississippi. This afternoon, we're going to have more likely mostly cloudy skies, but skies varying at times between partly to mostly cloudy skies. Same thing tomorrow, but more in the way of sunshine. And you can see the temperatures going from 90 today or 91 today, rising to Sunday at 93 to about 95 inland. You're going to be a lot hotter in the interior counties, mainly because of the increased cloud coverage, the increased direct sunlight. Rain chances today and tomorrow, 30% dropping down to 20%. Now, come Monday, we're going to start seeing that going back up to about 30 to 40%. And by Tuesday, you can practically count on showers and thunderstorms affecting the area, especially from morning into mid and late afternoon. Wednesday, a little bit of sunshine. By Thursday, and take a look at those temperatures as well, inversely proportional to our rain chances. We go from 40% chance on Monday with 92 degrees. By Thursday, we're looking at 70% with an average high temperature of about 87 degrees. And of course, with Thursday potentially bringing widespread showers and thunderstorms, there's going to be a lot of areas that will drop into the upper 70s and low 80s during those showers and thunderstorm activity, and then increase a little bit, with a break in the activity. Okay, so that's the forecast. We don't, or I keep saying we because of Jeff, but I don't want to keep this thing too long. I want to bring you the information as fast as I possibly can. But those of you that know me know that I do like to talk and I enjoy rambling as well. So here's a little bit of a fun segment, or not so fun for this afternoon. Man, look, we have had cats show up at our house. We've had dogs show up at our house. All of our fur babies have been from the Humane Society, or they come in off the street. I feed them, and I I don't know why they stay. We feed them, we love on them, and for some reason they end up staying. But um, the latest fur baby that we had from that followed me home many, many years ago, she passed away earlier this year. Her name was Toothless, Toothless the dragon. She was black. We named her after How to Train Your Dragon. She wasn't actually toothless. So I'm an avid fur baby lover. I need to bring this to your attention, folks. I see so many people walking their dogs in the middle of the day when it's 90 degrees, 92 degrees, and the heat index is at 105. That's not the big story, okay? The big story is this. Take a look at your screen. 77 degrees air temperature. Look at what asphalt and cement. Cement is a little bit cooler than asphalt, but look at what the temperatures will bring. 77 degrees gives a asphalt temperature of 125. 87 is 143. I walked down to my mailbox earlier this morning, must have been about 10:30, 11 o'clock, right? Barefoot. From the front door to the mailbox, I want to say it's probably about 30, 25, 30 yards, right? Max. Man, walking down there barefoot, my feet started to burn. And again, about 10:30 this morning, when it's not that hot, we're not getting that direct overhead sunlight. So for those of you who like to take your fur babies out for a walk in the middle of the day, I get it. If it's December, if it's November, if it's March, I get that. But this time of the year, please don't do it. Not because of the heat, but because of their pads. Their feet, man, think about it. They're walking, I don't know how long, a mile and a half that you're walking. Now you're getting hot because of the ambient temperature and you're exerting your energy. You're sweating. Obviously, they're panting like there's no damn tomorrow. They're a little hot as well, but the big thing about it, their feet, you're killing their feet, man. Please, 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 please do not do that. If I see you in public, I'm going to say something nicely to you. I just cannot tolerate that. Those babies are having a hell of a hard time. Please stop doing that. As a matter of fact, instead of taking them for a walk, you know what you can do? You can take them to the pool. Now, again, I keep referencing WXXV25. When I was on there as the morning and as the chief meteorologist, especially when Ansley Brent, my co-anchor, was on there. This little beauty right here, little Riley bug, this little beauty right there, she would be featured on the show at least a couple of times out of the week, right? I'd FaceTime her right about 7 o'clock in between the 4 hour broadcast. And that used to be the time she'd get up for school as well. So I'd FaceTime her and she'd hop on there, me, her, and Ansley, and we turned the phone towards the camera. So people in the local area could see her over television as well. And she absolutely loved that. We had a segment with her Christmas, a couple days before Christmas 2023. She came in and she helped me and Ansley make some cookies. So instead of taking your poor dog for a walk in the middle of the summer afternoon when the temperature of the asphalt is 140 degrees, take them here. Take them to the Hard Rock pool, man. Look, you don't even have to stay there. You can buy a day pass. You can go check them out. And if you haven't been to the Hard Rock pool, Riley will tell you it's the best pool that she has been to. They've got a shallow area, a large shallow area around there, a deep area towards the middle, not too deep. And one of the best things about it, they have a swim up bar with bar stools. You can swim right up, order your drink, and swim right back into your section of the pool. Stay cool. Again, this is the Hard Rock Biloxi. I want to give them credit for, even though it's my photo, I took it at the Hard Rock, and I just want to give them a little credit for that. So that's what we're looking at, folks. We're going to be bringing you some more weather over the weekend and into next week. I haven't really decided how often I'm going to do these podcasts, but weather depending and dictating how often I'll do it. But again, this is only the second one, as you can see. Still a little rusty. I'm still working on some new graphics to bring on air and deciding about some fun things to talk about. It's been a while. I think it's been about 20 minutes now, so we're going to go ahead and cut this short. Look, folks, again, I've been doing this for 29 years. I love talking about the weather. My television career, I connected with people east of the Continental Divide from Illinois up towards the Northeast, down through Florida, which I talked about quite a bit. If you like this podcast, please be a friend, tell a friend, like my man Pat McAfee would say. Tell somebody about it, share the link, and we'd certainly appreciate it. I'd like to continue this, but again, it's all dependent on the feedback you guys give us. And on YouTube as well. You can log in there and drop us a couple of critiques, comments, whatever the case is. Some things you'd like me to talk about, other things that you'd like me to shut the hell up about. I'd love the feedback. So again, thank you for joining us, and we'll be back soon.